Okay, so flip sequence of events. I've got it into 3 separate sections: before closing, during construction or renovation, and then after closing. So we'll go line by line here. So before closing, this is before, you come across a deal. Somebody brings you a deal, or you get it in your inbox, or you find it on Facebook or whatever. You're going to run the numbers on that deal. And once you realize that it's something you want to pursue, you're going to figure out your financing. Are you going to get a loan on it? Are you going to use your own money? Are you going to borrow money? Are you going to partner with somebody? Whatever you decide to do, just make sure you have your money in order, because you're going to make an offer after that. Once they accept your offer, you're going to sign a contract and immediately send earnest money. Most of the time when you are buying a flip, you're going to buy it from a wholesaler, and it's going to be a non-refundable earnest money deposit. So you want to be fairly certain that things are going to work out. You're still going to have an opportunity to do some due diligence after this, so you can still walk away from closing. However, you're not going to get that money back. Really, the only situation in which you would get that money back is if they cannot offer clear title. So the seller can't sell and give you a warranty. The title company can't give you a warranty on the title. So that's pretty much the only time you're going to get your earnest money deposit back, if the seller can't sell the property or can't give you clear title. So keep that in mind. If you do walk away, you're going to lose your earnest money deposit, which is not the end of the world. I have personally walked away from a deal. I lost $2,500 in earnest money, but I would have lost a lot more money because there were major issues with the property that I did not know about. So it's up to you, but just keep that in mind. So that's why you have to have your financing figured out before you even make an offer. So number 6, once you are under contract, they're going to obviously connect you with the title company. That's where you're sending your earnest money deposit. At that point, you can go ahead and reach out to somebody to set up a builder's risk insurance policy. This is what you're going to get for a vacant property that will have construction ongoing. So there's no tenant or anything like that. So it's not very expensive. Usually for a single family home for a 6-month policy, it's like $450, $500. So then you're going to draft up all the contracts and agreements. Hopefully do this before closing. If you have partners or you're working with the lender, private lender, draft all this up now. Might as well get it out of the way so you can sign it before closing or on the day of closing. If you're working with a hard money lender or a conventional lender, the title company is going to draft up a lot of this. But if you're just like borrowing money from your mom or, a family member or friend, you're probably going to end up doing it on your own. Again, the title company can't help you though. Pretty much every job site is going to require a dumpster and probably a porta potty. So schedule for that to be dropped off on closing day or whatever day you decide to have construction start, because you're going to pay for those by the day. And then try to get as many bids as you can before you close. Try to schedule as much work as you possibly can. Sometimes contractors won't go with you if you don't have ownership of the property, if you haven't closed yet, but sometimes they won't even ask. And then other times you might just be working with somebody who's a friend or family member, and they can start giving you bids, getting you an estimate, and you can draft your construction timeline. So then once you are actually under construction, you're in the renovation phase, you are going to make sure anyone that you hire is licensed and insured. And that's just a simple basic question. Hey, are you licensed and insured? And they say, yep. Say, okay, send it over to me. And they should send you their business license and a copy of their insurance. Make sure that they're bonded, because you could get in big trouble. Also make sure, just do a quick Google search on what they're licensed to do. Because if you have a huge renovation, like an $80,000 project or something, and they're only licensed to do $25,000 work, you're not going to be in a good place when things don't go well. So just keep that in mind. Just do a quick Google. You don't need to know what the different licenses are, but just Google what they have, what they can do, and make sure that it fits the needs of your property. So then make sure that all your contractors sign the contracts. Always make sure that everybody knows what it is you're hiring them to do, what the timeline is, when and how you're going to pay them, what are the repercussions for not doing the work, and what kind of contingencies are you going to build in. Make sure that's all in there. Make sure they sign it. Then make sure that you enforce those contracts. You need to actively manage the property or hire someone to manage it. Somebody needs to be there on the ground making sure that the contractors are doing what they said they're going to do. So inspect it, when they're done before you send them money. A lot of times, you'll pay a little bit. Maybe you'll pay some up front to pay for materials. Then you'll pay a little bit more when it's 50% done, and then you'll pay the remaining balance at completion of whatever you hired them to do, make sure that you're inspecting that. Don't just take their word for the fact that they're done or that they're halfway done. You need to get an inspector out there, even if you have to hire somebody to do that. Make sure that you keep the lines of communication open with everybody all the time. That's just good business. Take care of your contractors. You'd be surprised at what a box of donuts can do. And just put a smile on people's face, put a little pep in their step, and it just shows that you care. You're thinking about them. Make sure that you're keeping track of all expenses. Number 8, so just keep an expense tracker. Number 9, don't forget to pay your interest payments, taxes if you need to, and then whatever insurance. You might have prepaid it, maybe you didn't, but just make sure that you have a tracker for all those things and set reminders on your calendar. And then after you close, construction's done, you've sold the property. First of all, pat yourself on the back and schedule a celebration. This is huge, good for you. Then you're going to make sure that you file all the closing documents from the initial purchase and then also the final sale or the refinance if you did that. You need to keep all those documents on file. You're going to need them for your taxes. Make sure that you file your expense tracker so you can report income. Because even if it showed, let's just say the difference in price on your HUD was $100,000, but you didn't make $100,000, right? Like maybe you paid $40,000 in construction costs or $60,000. So you only made $60,000 or $40,000. So make sure you keep track of that. Next, share your success. And I don't say that, like I don't mean go out and brag, but tell your friends and family and your coworkers about what you're doing because they might want to do it too. They might want to partner with you in the future and you just found a great source of income or somebody who can help you out. And that leads to the last thing. Find your next flip and do it all over again because the real money is in the volume and the repetition and the scaling. So that's it. Flip sequence of events, how I analyze a flip. Hope this was helpful, and I hope that you get out there, you find a flip, and you crush it.